Easter is just around the corner, so it's time to start thinking about Easter treat ideas. In today's video, I'm going to show you an easy treat holder that you can use for a variety of occasions. Be sure to watch all the way through because I have some added tips and ideas for you and a second project idea as well. Are you ready to get started? Hey fellow crafters, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I love sharing techniques and project ideas for rubber stamping, scrapbooking, and paper crafting with you each week. Be sure to hit that red subscribe button and the bell beside it so that you'll be first to be notified when my next video goes live. Now let's get started on that fun Easter treat project. To make my treat holder, I'm going to use the Wildly Happy stamp set because it has this little bunny image, which I think is really cute and fun for Easter. So I have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. I have mounted the bunny stamp onto a clear block, and I'm going to ink it up and stamp it down using my Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And then what I'm going to do is color it. Let's get this stamped down first. Now, to color my bunnies, I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. I have the light smoky slate, and then I have the light flirty flamingo. The majority of my bunnies are going to be colored with the smoky slate, but I am going to add just a touch of the pink color on the ears of the bunnies. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to finish coloring these bunnies, and then I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to cut them out, and I'll be back in a moment and we'll carry on with creating some embellishments for the front of the treat holder. Back in a moment. There we go. I have my bunny rabbits all colored and cut out and ready to use on the front of my treat holder. So what I want to do is die cut next one of my stitched shapes framelits. I've chosen the circle and I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my embossing and die cutting machine. And I'm going to quickly die cut out this circle. And this also will be used on the front of my treat holder. There we go. So I'll set that there and I'll set my bunnies here. And now it's time to create the treat holder itself. As my treat holder theme is going to be Easter for this particular video, I thought it would be really fun to use some of my Art Gallery Designer Series paper because I think florals and spring are gorgeous. So what I did was I took one of the patterns in the paper pack and I cut it to be 7 1/4 by 2. So that's going to be the size of the treat holder. Now the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my Simply Scored, and I'm going to lay my paper down on the Simply Scored and run some score lines through it. Now here's a tip for you. The first score is going to be at 1 inch, and that's going to be the flap that's going to come over the front of the treat holder. So if you're choosing a design like a pattern like I am for your own treat holder, keep in mind that the first score is the flap. So you're going to have to think about what you want to sort of fold over the top of the treat holder. So I'm going to lay my floral pattern this way, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. That's going to create the flap. Then I'm going to score it at 3 1/2, then at 4 1/4, and then at 6 3/4. That's all there is to it. Now, before I burnish on the scoring lines, I'm going to bring in my scallop topper punch, and I'm going to, this is the 1 inch score, and I'm going to slide that in to my punch, and punch it, and that creates the overhang for my treat holder. So now what I'm going to do is fold on the score lines, and then I'm going to bring in my bone folder, and I'm going to burnish so that they're nice crisp scores, like so. And there's the last one. So I'll show you how this is going to look. It's going to sit like that. Let me show you again. So I've got sort of, this is the base if I was going to stand it up, and then this is the bottom, and this folds up, and then this little flap comes over like so. So that's the basics of the Easter treat holder, or any kind of treat holder. So let's continue, and I'll show you how to finish it off. The next thing you want to do is figure out what kind of treat you're going to put inside your treat holder. I have these little Tony's chocolates, and I think they are yum-o, and I think they would be fun to use on this treat holder. So what I'm going to do is fold the bottom flap up over the, I guess, the covering, and I'm going to bring in a stapler, and I'm going to staple the treat so that it's held secure inside my treat holder. And then I'm going to fold it up like so, and then bring this flap down over top like that. So you can see there's the bottom, and my chocolate is secured inside, and then I have this flap over top. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is bring in the embellishments that I created for my little treat holder and attach them to the front. So I'm going to start with my scallop circle, and I'm going to put some multi-purpose liquid glue, but only on half of the circle. Then I'm going to turn it over, and the half that I applied the glue to, I'm going to sit down like that, and then I'm going to just go ahead. Normally I would leave that to dry, but I appreciate that your time is valuable. So let's then attach the bunnies next, and I'm going to put them like so. And now I'm definitely going to leave it to dry for a few minutes. I'll be back and we'll finish off the project. All right, I think it's dry enough. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn this over, and you'll see that I've got the circle, the bottom part of the circle as an overhang. I am just going to take my paper snips and cut that right off so that the little bunnies are sitting right up against the bottom of the treat holder. Now, as you'll notice, my treat holder is opening up a little bit, so I've got a real handy tip for that. What I'm going to do is take 2 of my mini glue dots, and I'm going to put one on this side of the flap and one on the other side of the flap. And then, whoops, that didn't work. Just a minute. I don't know what happened to my mini glue dot. There we go. Put one there, and then I'll line this up and I'll fold this over like so, and that will, there's the mini glue dot, and that will hold my treat holder closed so that it is easy to transport should I decide to do so. Now, it looks like my treat holder is finished, but I have one other idea. I have some of this gorgeous gray granite satin ribbon. I love this ribbon. And so when the video was stopped, I decided to create a bow. When it was on the bolt, I cut it off the bolt, and I'm going to add this ribbon using that mini glue dot that fell off my pack. There we go. I'm going to, let's see, I think I'll make this the back. I'm going to put the mini glue dot on there, turn it over, and then I'm going to attach my bow. And there we go. My little Easter treat holder is done and ready to give to somebody special. I have a question for you. Think of the occasions that you have coming up in the next few months. Is there an occasion that this treat holder might work for? Maybe not an Easter theme, but another kind of occasion? Leave me a comment underneath this video and tell me the kind of occasions you have coming up that you might give this idea a try for. And let me show you a second idea. This one, I used one of the phrases in the art gallery stamp set. It says best wishes, and I used a different pattern of the fine art floral paper. I used a different ribbon, and this time I actually put that mossy meadow ribbon all the way around and threaded it through the hole in the front of the treat holder. And then I did the same kind of half circle idea, but instead of an image, I used a phrase. If you would like to get more ideas like these or ideas for cards and scrapbook pages, I invite you to subscribe to my free newsletters. I send 2 newsletters a week with a project idea you won't see anywhere else. I'll link below in the description box for this video, so you can click on that link and subscribe to my newsletters. And if you would like a complete listing of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the layers, head on over to my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. I'm Terry. I'm nuts about stamping. I hope you'll create a fun Easter treat holder today too. Bye for now.